has been around 300K. Yeah. At 100% ROI.
Yeah, that's...
Yeah, pretty crazy. Yeah, man, it's just, the system works. There's enough proof there. You just got to put it to work. I mean, the stuff you're sharing in the course is all you need, really.
How long have you been in the course for? Like 2 months, around about? Or?
Yeah.
From zero to, $30,000 weeks in 2 months.
The success is real. Like the life you're going to have, in the future, you have to believe it's actually real, and you just have to do these steps to get there. For me, I'm extremely grateful for the success that I'm having, but at the same time, I'm just trying to improve every single day, and that's really it. Like the numbers, the money will come. I just enjoy getting better at writing scripts, making videos, challenging myself. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if people are coming out with $100,000, $200,000 days, I mean, there's really no limit to this, it seems.
Your life can change, and it's just about you making that change and you deciding that you want to have a change in your life and that you want to go after something better and go after the path that you actually want. Hey everyone, so today we've got Alex Kim. So Alex Kim's been sending me through some screenshots on Instagram, and his success, to say the least, is pretty astounding. So I think this will be a very inspiring and motivational interview for everyone. So Alex, if you just want to introduce yourself, where you're from, your age.
Yeah, my name's Alex. I'm 22 years old. I'm based in California, specifically Los Angeles. I got started back in 2019 with Facebook, and that kind of went down, and things led to YouTube, and yeah, it's worked out a little bit.
Yeah, because I think your results are honestly mind blowing, right? And I think most people would find that to probably unbelievable. So do you want to just share? We can throw your screenshot on the screen here as well, but do you just want to share what your biggest day's been, what your biggest week and even month has been? Because it's pretty astonishing.
My biggest week has been around 300K at 100% ROI.
Yeah, that's...
Yeah, pretty crazy. Yeah, man, it's just, the system works. I mean, there's enough proof there. You just got to put it to work. I mean, the stuff you're sharing in the course is all you need, really.
Yeah. And so, coming from, hitting $300,000 in a week, $150,000 profit basically in a week. Do you want to take us back a little bit through your story? Because just like everyone listening to this here, you started where everyone else started. You started trying to find a path, trying to find a journey, trying to achieve that financial success. So do you want to just take us back a little bit through your backstory and, maybe some hardships, some challenges that you faced, but that you overcame to really get to the point that you're currently at?
So out of high school, I already knew I didn't want to go to college. I actually was into making music production. So I went to Icon Collective out in Burbank, California, just making beats and stuff. And the school itself, it was great. It wasn't for me. So I stopped doing that. And I was like, well, what's next for me? I mean, I got to get my money right. So I, looking for opportunities online, fell into a little bit of the fake gurus for a little bit, but FBA was definitely an opportunity that was real. So I got into that, just doing flipping stuff, retail arbitrage. And that was actually doing decent. I was having some okay months, $15,000 a month. But then overnight, my business was completely shut down because apparently you can't do retail arbitrage and you can't use those receipts from retail as proof of authenticity. So although I was selling legitimate products, Amazon wasn't accepting that.
Interesting.
So from there, I jumped onto Facebook, and that's what kind of, that's when I realized, I need to learn a skill that can really scale, doing, it was a lot of labor doing Amazon FBA, especially in the way that I was doing it. So I wanted to develop something that can be very lucrative. And it was, for me, that was marketing. It just kind of sounded right for me. And Facebook was overall just rough. I think it was rough for a lot of people, people who try doing Facebook. And basically I pretty much lost, nearly all of my money net, at the end of my run with Facebook, even though I had some good success in between. And from there, I had to pull a loan to pay for rent, living, things like that. And I used that loan to figure out YouTube.
Yeah. That's pretty. Yeah, a lot of people talk about risk and stuff, but when you're that motivated and you have such like a big belief in yourself and also in a system, then I think that's where you can create some pretty powerful, like a pretty powerful impact in your life as you've done, right? Because taking out that loan and going ahead and putting that towards your business and putting it towards yourself, like investing in yourself with that. At the end of the day, like look where it's got you, right? So it's pretty fortunate.
I have a ton of fun working on my business anyways. I love challenging myself, growing, because I think for me, it was more so a journey of self-management. My success was really equal to the level of which I can manage myself better.
Yeah.
And so a lot of that time leading up to this was really working on managing failures, managing fears, and reframing them to where I can continue to push forward, and yeah.
Yeah, I think that's like one of the biggest things. Like eventually a lot of these interviews come down to like mindset, because at the end of the day, I think the only difference between someone in your position, in my position, and someone watching this comes down to like the mindset. And I think that's really powerful to discuss as well, because it literally does come down to the mindset, especially when you're with a system that you can have like belief and faith that it does work. And as you said, reframing failures and stuff, one of the biggest things that stuck with me, and I think I say it on most interviews, but I always see failures as stepping stones to success. Your Amazon business, it went well and then it eventually fell off, but you just, took one leap from there to the next until you find that thing that sticks, and you've built up the confidence and you've built up the skills and stuff along the way, which has ultimately built up to your mindset to achieve what you've achieved now.
Yeah. I don't think if I had this kind of success earlier, like in those days doing Amazon, I don't think I would have been able to manage it properly.
Yeah.
I think it would have been just, a quick burnout for sure. But because now I have more consistency in my business, because I've learned to manage myself and my mindset a little bit more, I'm confident that I'm going to be able to move forward from here, and continue to push. And managing my emotions, reframing circumstances so that it's empowering rather than stopping me from moving forward.
How long have you been in the course for? Like 2 months, around about? Or?
Yeah.
From zero to $30,000 weeks in 2 months. Do you have any sort of foundational mindset stuff that you use to propel you to that success that quick, that you think is like a key factor?
I think, like you said earlier, the simple stuff is gold, like reframing failure, things like that. A lot of people will hear that and just be like, oh my gosh, like they're jaded from hearing things like that. But in reality, once you actually let it sink in, you realize how true these things are. So if you can really kind of come at things with a beginner's mind, these ideas of reframing failure and actually putting it to action. And also, obviously you need proper strategy. You need a split test. You need to do all these things, but that's all baseline. The thing that's stopping you from doing all those things that you should be doing is usually, your mindset. And there's some fear in there that you have to deal with in order to move forward with that.
Yeah.
So I would definitely say reframing failure has been big for me. And also believing that, the success is real. Like the life you're going to have, in the future, you have to believe it's actually real, and you just have to do these steps to get there. And if you have that belief that it's already there, then you will put in the work, you won't give up. You'll actually believe it will happen.
Yeah, definitely. So how does it feel to be in this current position? And like, have you told any of your friends and family yet about this success that you've had?
Yeah, I've told my parents, my family, some close friends, and everyone has the same reaction. Same as me, you know, it's like, that's insane. Like, are you serious? And for me, you know, I'm extremely grateful for the success that I'm having, but at the same time, I'm just trying to improve every single day, and that's really it. Like the numbers, the money will come. I just enjoy getting better at writing scripts, making videos, challenging myself, you know?
Yeah, and that's really key as well. What you said, you got to like enjoy the process, because you're not going to get to that outcome if you're not enjoying the process. Yeah. So, do you want to just take me back to like the first sort of, because when you hit like $66,000 days, but before that you had to make your first like $1,000 day, 2,000, 5,000. So do you just want to take me through like the emotions and even the situation where you opened your dashboard and you saw that you hit like your first, let's say, whatever you classify as your first like big breakthrough of the course? Do you want to just take us back to that moment in time, like what you were thinking and what sort of emotions were coming through?
When I was making these ads that are doing well right now, I did not expect it, of course. So when I started running these ads and I saw the crazy high conversion rates, and I just started upping the budget because I'm comfortable spending budget and things like that. So I was just like, all right, let's see how this goes tomorrow. So I upped it and it did well. So, and I kept doing that until I reached a point. But like, as you know, for me, I had a level of anxiety, just like, oh man, now I got to continue this. Like, how am I going to do it? Like, this is crazy. For me, it was just learning to kind of stay calm. You know, meditation is a great anchoring practice for me. To just stay calm, high or low, you know, be okay with that and just focus on what I have to focus on, which is just getting better at, you know, the 20% that gives me the most amount of results, which is just making better ads.
Yeah. You know? That's really important when you say like meditation and like sort of grounding yourself, because it's good to like enjoy the highs, but there's also going to be like lows, like there's going to be fluctuations and stuff, like especially when you're first starting. You could make a whole ton of money. You could do like a lot of money, and then, you know, your videos might die, campaigns might fall out a little bit. But at the end of the day, you know that once you've developed those skills, you could basically just replicate it. And as you've seen, if you can do $1,000 day, you can do a 5,000, you can do a 10, and you can ultimately just keep taking it up to like a $60,000 day. Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if people are coming out with $100,000, $200,000 days, you know. Yeah. I mean, there's really no limit to this, it seems.
What kept you like pushing forward? So you went through your music school, you realized that you needed to have money to like sort of sustain that passion, right? Because I think that's ultimately what a lot of people, you know, being young as well, I think we can both see it. Like a lot of people get stuck in like the system of they have to sort of do the conventional thing, and they have to do what their parents say, or they have to do what their friends think is normal, which is like go to university, get a degree, or do some sort of traditional education. So what was there any like really like innate desire to like break out of that system for you to start seeking like other methods online?
Yeah, ever since high school, you know, it was planted in my mind just from being on YouTube or whatever. I was always into self-development, things like that. And I think when you're in that space, you know, what comes with that usually is these ideas of like financial freedom, being a business owner, being an entrepreneur. And that's kind of what catapulted me and it gave me that ideal to move forward to.
There's a massive overlap between like self-development and like online, you know, businesses and stuff. And that's what got me into it as well, as realizing that you can develop yourself outside of the system. Like you can develop your mindset outside of school. You can develop your financial literacy outside of school. And I think that's ultimately way more powerful than any sort of education that you can get through a traditional system, because no traditional system is going to help you really get to like the highest level that you want. It's going to get you to that sort of mundane level where everyone sort of exists, I think, or most people, right? Because, and then it also comes down to the mindset of people with the traditional sense of education and like career choices. They honestly they wouldn't be able to conceive of someone making like 300K in a week, right?
Yeah. I think it definitely teaches you to take on more initiative with things, and it's hard. Obviously there's a place for going to university and getting a 9 to 5 for sure. If that's what you want to do, there's absolutely nothing wrong with it, right? Because if you enjoy it, then no one could tell you otherwise. But for me, yeah, I enjoy. I'm okay with the risk of taking on, owning a business and everything like that. Because for me, the reward just outweighs that completely.
Yeah, 100%. The biggest thing that helped me was watching success interviews and watching people that were in the position where I wanted to be in, because that I knew that if that person could get there, it's only a matter of time and only a matter of belief before I myself could actually get there as well.
Yeah, like the success videos, and even in the beginning of the Q&A videos where you guys mention other people's success in the course, that's fuel for me. It makes me push forward. It's so, yeah, I think it's really important to share, and that's why I wanted to share, because I think other people could relate a lot.
Yeah, definitely. If you had to give some advice to someone or your past self, so your past self, as soon as you jumped into the course, you're going through all the modules, the materials, what advice would you give to yourself or anyone else in that position?
Just to top it off, just consistency. But below that, it's going through the course and actually writing down the lessons and things that you can apply directly to your ad, your landing page, and making sure when it's time to execute, you're checking those things off. You got to make sure you're actually applying those things rather than just keeping it in your head. Take the information seriously, actually believe that what they're saying is true, and apply those things. So it will work out if you do that consistently, because it's going to take trial and error and learning your own lessons along the way, because everyone has their own weak points. So for someone else, it may be working on scripting a little bit more. Someone else, it could be visuals. But over time, you're going to notice those flaws by split testing, and you will eventually have a clearer picture of what's going on, how you need to talk to your audience and what aspects of the ad is going to make the largest effect.
That's really what it comes down to, is consistent action, because at the end of the day, as we say, you only need that one video to pop, and you've got to do everything you can to get to that one video. And you mentioned the 20% rule, like the 80-20 rule, which is doing 20% of the actions that are going to get you 80% of the results, which is really important as well.
Definitely keeping yourself accountable is number one here, and making sure that you're actually tracking your progress and being real with yourself. If you're being lazy and it deep down and you're asking why you're not getting results, that's something you're going to have to confront. And in the end, that's a great thing, because you're going to have to work on yourself, and that will trickle into other aspects of your life that you can improve.
Yeah, exactly. And another big quote that really stuck with me is, instead of wishing it was easier, wish you were better. So like, what are the ways that you can improve yourself to take better actions, to be more efficient, to take more and more consistent and persistent steps towards the goal life that you want? You can really pinpoint which students are like yourself, right? You can really pinpoint the attitudes that the successful students have, which is really just like focusing on the mindset and taking the actions that are going to get them to where they want to be. It's
just about not seeing yourself as the victim and knowing there's always a solution out there. So you got to ask yourself, instead of, maybe you get suspended or something like that, you can blame Google, you could blame your dog, whatever. But at the end of the day, it's on you to get those results, and no one's really going to pick you up and take you across the finish line. So, yeah.
So a lot of people aren't aware of like online stuff. So if someone says, I'm going to join this course, or I'm going to start my own online business, a lot of people get a lot of negative feedback and input from people. Did you find that at all?
I did not, actually. My parents were always supportive. They just wanted me to do whatever would make me happy. So I'm blessed to be able to have them, to let me kind of adventure in these little things and kind of follow my own compass here. So I did not face that, but I know a lot of people do.
Yeah.
And in those situations, for sure, you got to definitely block all the noise and just kind of let in the ideas that are going to be empowering towards whatever it is you want. Because at the end of the day, we only have control over that. We can change our perspective, and we can change what we let in. And although it's hard to do that at some points, I mean, you're either going to do it or not. That's what's stopping you a lot of the times. And some people have it harder than others, for sure. But in the end, those are the people that usually come out the most successful, because they had to start at such a deficit.
Yeah, everyone starts from different positions. They have different upbringings. They have different circumstances around them. You're on the right path, and it's only a matter of time and only a matter of actions and action steps. And even you're only a matter of failures away. Like every video you launch that fails, every video that you launch that doesn't perform very well, you're going to be one step closer to that breakthrough. Like for you, for example, do you want to run through when you were testing ads? Were you successful from the beginning, or did you have some failures? Or
yeah, so the testing process for me was probably where I had to learn how to manage myself the most, because seeing failure after failure after failure, it can take a hit on your confidence in your future, believing it could work out for you. But, things like you, Keegan, Rob, Gary, making a course, creating a community, showing other people's success, that was my fuel for me, along with, my own personal goals of having financial freedom. I just tried to stay objective, and each ad was just, like you said, a stepping stone. Okay, let's test a new intro. Let's test a different visual. Will these types of visuals work? And when you do that, you create a database of, which aspects of your ad will create a big impact. And you guys preach that it's the intro, the first 30 seconds. And that is incredibly true. Just changing a visual in your ad could change everything. It could take your CPC from $2 to like $1, under $1.
So when you went from those sort of ads that were tanking to then hitting that successful one, do you remember when you were like, all right, you had ads that were tanking, and then you hit, was it one ad that you started scaling up, or did you have a couple ads that started to hit and perform well?
It was one ad. For me, it was about the hook, of course. It was dialing in those first 5 seconds. I focus on that a ton. I play with those first 5 seconds. And a lot of the times what I noticed, this is just a current understanding, may or may not be true, but I like to make sure that I have my first sentence and then some other information begins before they can skip. Yeah. So you're going to get their attention with that claim, and the visual once they first hear that and see that. But then you have to hit them with some kind of interesting or unique information. Yeah. Whether it's on the subject of weight loss or something like that. But you have to hit them with some interesting information. And I look for products that have a unique mechanism. Like that's really important, because that's the base of really your marketing.
As you've seen, when you hit that winner, you can literally go from like $100 a day to like 5,000, 10,000. So what was your time frame there?
Yeah, that was just overnight, like as soon as I saw sales coming in and converting, like it wasn't like my other ads. So I knew I was onto something. So I pushed budget the same day, so I spent $1,000 the first day, and that got me 1,500. But because my budget spent so quickly within a certain time frame, I knew if I just had a full day of running, it would perform a lot better. So that's why I wasn't afraid to push budget the next day. And I think I doubled it or something like that. And that's when I hit 4 or 5K or something like that.
Yeah, that's insane, man. Well, I think this has been a very powerful, interview to hear your story and to even hear some of those golden nuggets. I think this will be very powerful for a lot of people. I think it goes to show like how much your life can really change at the end of the day with, the business model, with the course. Like, I hope everyone watching this now realizes that these numbers are achievable. And even though to a lot of people, they think it's impossible, as long as you realize that it is achievable, then you're going to have the belief in yourself, and you're going to have the motivation and the inspiration within you to actually take the action steps to really go after that. Your life can change, and it's just about you making that change and you deciding that you want to have a change in your life and that you want to go after something better and go after the path that you actually want.
If you keep yourself accountable to taking consistent action, I don't know how it's not possible. You know?
Yeah, definitely. And, you know, even if you don't, you just start with the little steps, right? Your first $100 day, 200,000, 2,000, and then, you know, you can scale up to however big that you want as well, which I think is like, as you said, like the scalability of it is insane.
Yeah, it's really insane. I'm ready to see those 100K days from people. It's
coming. It's definitely going to be coming. You could be next, so you're going to be pushing for that 100K day.
Yeah. I mean, that's the next goal.
Yeah. All right. Well, it's been a pleasure to have you on here, man. And it's awesome to hear your story and for you to share. I think that's really powerful for a lot of people. So just want to say thank you again for jumping on here. And I hope everyone that listened to this interview definitely enjoyed it, got a lot of value and golden nuggets that I think will help them start crushing their campaigns.
Awesome. Yeah. Thank you for having me.
All right. Sweet. See you, everyone. All right. Hey, Ricky.